welcome back to Copperhead Customs. Today we're going to continue with, what's that? Wrong car. Today we're going to continue with this, our 1955 Desoto with a blown 392 HEMI. Something pretty good's going to happen today, so stick around to see what it is. Yes, that's right. Today we're going to continue on this, our 55 Desoto Fireflight Sportsman with a blown 392 HEMI in it. And if you want to know what we're going to do today, well, I think you'll enjoy it. We are going to do a lacework painted roof. So the plan is we're going to put the lace down, paint it in black. Then I think we're going to shoot maybe an orange pearl over the top, and then we'll clear coat it all. Now, the plan was to mask up a pretty tricky pattern on it as well and do some really funky stuff.
Oh my God, that's some funky shit!
But if you've been watching us, you would probably know that when we peeled all the stickers off the back, yes, as I was saying, when we peeled all the stickers that were on it off the back, it peeled all the paint, leaving this creamy coloured undercoat. So what we did was we did it as a reverse sign, as in the cream is the sign writing and the red is the faded sign fading through back to the base coat being the red. So we airbrushed the outside of the sign in, airbrushed and painted some patina on, and then flattened the whole car using a Scotch-Brite. Now I think we'll probably put a clear coat over it, probably a matte clear, to lock it all down temporarily. And later on, down the track, when I get sick of this look, I will take it back to bare metal and paint it properly. Now, I've only owned this for a few weeks, and it is a bit of a weapon. The motor is pretty good. Now, we did have a few carby issues, but we seem to have sorted them out. So like I've said, the body had issues. I'm pretty happy with the look of it now that we've fully patinaed it and airbrushed all the sign writing. So what we're going to do is we're going to mask up all the chrome work in the roof, around the roof. My original plan was to do some masking lines on the roof and have a bit of a pattern with some stripes, etc., and then the lace. But there's a fair chance the masking tape will pull the paint, so we're not going to risk it. We're just going to mask up the outside of all the chrome. We'll put the lace down. We will paint it black over the lace. We'll pull the lace off. I'm thinking of blowing in all the sides in black and blending them into the black lace work, so all those edges will all get hard black flicked out. Then we'll throw a pearl. I'm thinking orange, but we'll have a look at some different pearls that we've got inside the paint system and see what we think will look good. We'll shoot a pearl clear coat mix on until we're happy with the result, and then we will just shoot straight pearl over, a straight clear over the top to lock it all down and hopefully make it look pretty cool. We'll then unmask it, pull it out in the sun, have a proper look at it, let it set for a day, and then we'll take it out for a drive. So if some of that sounds interesting, stick around and enjoy the show. Hey, you might even learn how to do something. And for those wondering, don't worry, we haven't forgot about our 48 Bedford. We're just having a break while we're waiting on some new parts to arrive to finish it off. It is very close, and fingers crossed, it won't be long till it's ready to drive down the road. And we haven't forgot about our 38 Chev. We've finally got our diff in, so we can pull that one apart, our second diff with our diff center, pull that apart, rebuild our diff that's in the car, do our tail shaft, and then a bit of wiring and plumbing, and this one is done. And we've still got this one to jump on with as well. Don't worry, we're not forgetting about them. They're taking pride of place in the shed. We've got our shifter in now. We're getting pretty close on this one too. We just needed a break from it. 90% of the fabrication's done. We've got to do exhaust tail shaft. And other than that, we're basically at the same point where it is wiring, brakes, plumbing, etc. We need to buy some motor components as well, i.e. a full service tune up on it. And then this one's there as well. So both of these are past 90%, just need the finishing touches, but they don't make for great videos. 1 and 2, you got to have a break on them. Otherwise, it's not always fun. And hey, it's fun building new ones. So that's enough of all the formalities and dribble. Let's now get the masking tape out. Let's mask up this chrome to start with so that when we scotchy all the roof down, we won't scratch our chrome. Now, if you're wondering what I'm talking about with scotchy, is I like to use these, a scotch pad, cut them in half, go over the whole roof with one of these. Now, these are equivalent to about a 400 wet and dry sandpaper. So it's basically the exact same principle. If you don't like these, you can just use wet and dry sandpaper. And basically we want to sandal the roof down to make it roughish, so that the new paint will stick to it. If we just paint straight over the top of what's there, the new paint will not stick, and down the track will flake off and look like rubbish. So we use one of these to scuff all the paintwork, existing paintwork, up so that our new paint will stick. So when I allude to scotching, if some of you didn't know, that's what it is. So let's get into it. Okay, it is the next morning and we've just masked up around the outside of our roof and our little badge. So that will stay on. That's masked up all properly now. That will stay on, and then we will run the masking tape with the paper next around. Then we'll get our drop sheet and cover the whole car, and then cut the roof out and tape that to the paper. So our next step is, with our scotch pad, we just want to go over and scuff the whole car. Now, what I find is what you should be doing is running it both ways, okay, like a cross hatch pattern. That way you will get a better result, okay? So don't be doing this or anything, just go this way and then come back across this way. And I run my, you can use a block if you want, but I just use my hand and go. Don't go this way with your fingers because you'll lean lines. So always go across with your palm, if that makes sense. So I'll quickly go and scuff the whole roof down. For you it will be 5 seconds. For me, be a good half hour, and I'll see you when we come back. Okay, so we're back. So you can see the roof. Hopefully it's pretty hard for you to tell, but now that's all dull, okay? No shiny, it's all just been dulled. So that's all we're doing. We're not blocking it down, we're not doing anything. We're just removing the shine off so that our paint will stick. So hopefully you can sort of see all the little scratchy marks. Now we've gone and we've just fired the compressor up. We've emptied all the water out of the compressor. We've just gone and blown our edges out. We're at the point now where we will get the paper and masking tape out and run the paper around. Then we'll grab the drop sheet, pull it over the whole car, tie it in the corners, cut that out. Then we'll put the lace on, which reminds me, we better get the lace out of the car before we masking tape it all up. Anyway, I won't bore you with any of this. We'll come back when the car's all masked up. Okay, so we are now all masking taped up, papered, and the drop sheet all around the car. What I do is, this stuff's pretty cool, hey, like even if you've got multiple cars, it's pretty cheap, hey, and just use it as a drop sheet in the shed. To keep the dust off them, it's pretty good. I used to, but I like looking at them a bit more. And you just pull it all out and then tie up the corners. It works pretty well. And when we've just done a rough cut out, nothing fancy, and taped it roughly to the paper all through there. So the plan now is we'll grab our lace. Now we bought this from the material shop. I think it cost me $25 or something. We got some discount with the boss has a card or something. So this was the best pattern I could get, i.e. the biggest pattern. I think it should look pretty good. It's a pretty trick one. The one we did on our Bedford was a beautiful pattern. It was a huge big flower, and that was pretty cool, but this was the biggest pattern they had. Now I've got 2.1 meter, which was a drop in them, but that's going to be our width, and we got 3 meters of it. So we'll put it on, we'll line it all up so we get our pattern semi-centered. We'll probably have to trim a bit of it off because we'll have too much. Then we'll tape that down, and then we'll call back in and start getting ready to paint. Oakley dokley. There's our lace on. So as you've seen, we taped it up. Now we didn't really have to tape it up, but I just taped it up to get it fairly tight and get rid of a lot of the wrinkles, so that we had a better result, and that way it kept it all. And because I'm in pretty limited space here, I thought it would help us with not touching it and moving it or something silly. So that's our pattern. I think that should look pretty cool, and I tell you what, in white it looks pretty trick, doesn't it? Maybe I should change my ideas. Now I was going to do it in black. Maybe I should do it in silver or something. I think we'll do it in black. I think it will look better. So it'll be black, and then all these flowers here, whatever you want to call them, will stay red. So the pattern will stay red, and we'll have black. All of these through here will all be black. I think that should look pretty trick. Then we'll probably just come along and just sort of this sort of area here, we'll just probably have solid black and shaded it out, is what I'm thinking. And then we'll throw a pearl over the whole roof to give it some sparkle and pizzazz, and actually change it from red to, like I said, to like maybe an orange is what I'm thinking. We'll go through our pearls a bit later. So that's it there. I actually think this is going to look really, really trick. So anyway, I'm going to go and have a drink and de-sweat, and then we'll come in, we'll make some paint, fire up the compressor, and we'll shoot our first coat of black down. Now the black we're using is a base coat, and it is actually a Suzuki Swift colour that I have. It's one of their blacks, and it has pearl in it as well. I'm not sure if it's the blue, it might be the one with the bluish, it's called bluish black, and it has a fair bit of blue pearl in the black. So that's something else. We're going to have this blue pearl in our black as well, so, but only a little bit. Then we'll put the orange pearl and clear over the top. So we'll see what it looks like. Oakley dokley, turn that off. There's our black base laid down. We actually get to give it 2 or 3 coats for it to get in. It used a lot of paint, a hell of a lot of paint, but it looks pretty good. Now there is one spot over there that's given me a little bit of curry. It's had a few bit of a reaction. I'll jump up on here. And just here, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. It just looks a bit weird. Now I didn't want to eat the paint, didn't want to take the paint, and it's just looking a bit strange just there. So we may have a little issue there. But what I'll do is we'll just see what it looks like when we peel it. So there it is. What we're going to do now is, as long as we're happy with the base, which I think we are, it looks pretty uniform, we're going to come along here and we're going to gently remove the tape from the outside the whole way around first, and then I'll slowly lift it up. Well, we'll see what it's going to look like. Hopefully it turns out good. Hopefully this turns out good. It's a lot of work for it to go stupid and us have to sand it all back, and who knows what we'll do then. Alright, bear with me. I'll put you back on to time lapse so I can use 2 hands to do this, and we'll fingers crossed it turns out. Okay, it did look a little bit overspray-y, so I don't know. But it was the corners where it is slightly lifted, so, and on those corners, remember, we're going to blow a bit of black in, so fingers crossed. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty damn good. So now I think it actually looks really cool. I think that's cool. I think what we should do though, I'm humming and ha-ha-ha-ing. See how it's a little bit, I think we should just lay a little bit of black on this edge. That's what I reckon. It's a little bit of black around this edge, the whole way around the car. I think that would look pretty cool. As you can see there's that little spot we were having a bit of an issue with. Still a bit weird, but we'll get away with it. And as you can see right through the middle, pretty hard to tell, but that's where the paint was very thin, the red paint. It's a bit of a different colour, but once it's pearled, I'll tell you what, that looks really nice as it is. That looks really nice. It's made that red pop. Yeah, I think we should just put a little mist on the edge there. I think that would look cool. And then, yeah, pearl. So what are we going to do for pearl? Because that looks nice. It looks nice just like that. We'll have a think while we do this little bit of black. I'm pretty sure we should do this little tiny bit of black. Just to get rid of this. See how there it's a bit like blurry? It's not nice and sharp like the rest of it. So I think if we just black that out and then so it blends off, that will look better. I like it, guys. I'm liking it. Alright, let's keep motoring. Oakley dokley. So there we've done it with our little border that I was talking about. Just a little black edge. I think it looks nicer like that. Stand back. I think that looks pretty groovy. So now we've just cleaned the gun. So we'll just give this 10 minutes to set up while we go and find a pearl. I'm thinking an orange, but we'll see what we've got. Maybe a gold or an orange or blue, no. Sorry about the compressor. Blue, no. Purple, maybe. I think orange would go best with the car though, so we'll see what we got. And we'll be back in a bit. Okay, so what we did is our orange pearl had gone. So what we used was, we used a red brown and we put a bit of gold. So like a 90% red brown, 10% gold. And hopefully you should be able to see that. So the black has definitely gone this metallic-y brown, really nice brown. It's not quite what I wanted. It's looking really good. So that's just one little baby 3/4 of a pot, I suppose, of that. What I'm thinking now is I'm thinking of throwing another pearl over the top of this just to slightly change it. So I'm thinking maybe a gold, which may turn this brown a little bit oranger, or a little bit more like a copper. That's what I think. So I think I might do a strong gold mix now, and we'll just do a little bit of that, and fingers crossed it turns good. But that in the sun, I'll put the light back on, that in the sun is gonna pop. So this is just our pearling coats. So we'll get these down, and then once we're happy with our pearl coat colour, then we'll just go straight clear, and we'll give it probably another 2 or 3 coats of straight clear. We'll start getting them a bit heavier. As you've seen with that one, I was basically just sort of dusting it on no real, I sort of did one coat like normal, and then I just started like dusting it around, trying to get it fairly even, an even look, and it's looking pretty cool. I actually wanted to try to change the red more than the black, but yeah, that's why I think maybe we'll go gold, and hopefully we can get the red to orange a little bit more, and maybe the brown to copper a bit more, and yeah, then I reckon that will be us. I don't mind it as it is. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it with that pearly brown. Oh, step down here, and I'll just show you right here. So it's a pretty nice colour. It's a pretty nice colour. We're really not going to see it until we get it out in the sun, of how much it does tend to pop. So anyway, I'll go mix another pot up, and we will lay another one down. Oakley dokley. Well, this is with the gold on now, and it's got some sparkle. This thing's going to look pretty cool. It's nearly got a greenish tinge into it. It's going to look pretty cool out in the sun, I think, guys. That looks pretty tricky, eh? So I think that's going to be us. It's not what I was looking at. I was looking more orange, but I must say it does look a treat, because if you remember me saying when we first did the red, it actually looked pretty good with the red. Now we just got rid of the black, basically. I suppose when we show the red of the body, we'll really see the difference in this red. But when it comes in the sun, it's going to look pretty trick. I'm actually liking it. I think it looks cool. And I think we'll just let that coat set up for 10 15 minutes. And then we've already got our next pot of straight clear mixed. And we'll throw that on. And then we will probably, because I want to let this one, there a little bit of trash went in on that one, a couple of bits of trash, and I think, see those little speckles like there, I think that's a little bit of the pearl that didn't mix very good. There's a couple little bits of trash in this one, so we'll give them we'll let that set so we can try to get them out of it. Then, though all of those coats have been pretty light, so we've now got to start giving it some heavy coats so that we get it nice and off the gun finish, looking beautiful. No orange peel, as you can see. It's a little bit, can you see, it's a bit peely at the moment because we've just been doing light coats, nothing heavy as yet. I must admit, I am liking it. I'm liking it quite a lot. So if I'm liking it in here, I think it's going to look mental when we get it out in the sun. It just looks pretty cool, I think. Any rate, I'm going to go get a drink. We'll let this one set off, and then we'll come back and shoot some more clear. Okay, there's one. There we go. There's a clear coat on, and it's looking pretty nice. We're having a few issues with the gun then, dropping a bit of water. We've got water in our line, we can't seem to get rid of it. I emptied the compressor, we're running filter, but it's coming out on the join from the hose to the gun. So in there I wrapped a rag around it, don't like doing that, and we just put a second bit over the center because it was a bit thick. I'm having a few issues with the gun in general, the pressures. I had it a bit too much air pressure at the start, but any rate, I think we'll give it another one. I think we'll give it another coat, or try to give it another nice heavy coat and get rid of some peel. We still had a little bit of peel in that one because I had a few issues So I'd like to try to give it one more, and then that will give us a fair bit on there if we want to one day wet sand and polish, get a bit of the trash out. So I think we'll give it one more. It's got a bit on there realistically, because you know the pearl was clear too, so it had a few coats and it's had that one solid straight. I think we'll do one more pot. I think that's what we'll do. Yes, talk myself into it. So we'll do one pot mix, and we'll do one more nice thick heavy coat on it, and then we'll gently start unmasking it. I like to unmask when it's still very fresh, very dangerous, but also we don't ever have issues then with it peeling a bit of this back with the masking tape. So yeah, we'll start off just slowly pulling it all down. And it's so hot today, it's drying really quick. That could have been why I was having a few issues then, because I might have had a bit too much pressure with it being so hot. I like painting when it's warm, but yeah, today it's quite warm. So at any rate, I think we might be able to get it out in the sun later this afternoon and have a bit of a look-ski at it. Anyway, I'm thinking it's looking pretty cool. I'm thinking it's looking pretty good, guys. So you can see it's a little bit orange peely, but you can tell by my shadow. See my shadow here? See, it's not crisp. It's a little bit, so you can tell there's a little bit of peel in it, but nothing too bad. So one more coat, another coat. We'll try to eliminate a little bit of that. But yeah, we've got enough. We'll have enough on there that we can give it a light sand with like some 2000 grit and polish it if we see fit. Anyway, stop talking. Let's get it finished. Okay, we are back, and this thing looks magnificent. So if you were watching properly with the way I clear coated it, as you've seen, I was having a few issues with the clear coat, and then we put our big, thick, heavy coat on, and then I probably gave it 2 real heavy coats, and then you would have seen for probably the last half a pot, I just was holding it on and just holding it quite high and just sort of misting over the whole roof. Now what I do that quite often. One, it gives us some extra clear coat on because we're going to work it, but 2, quite often we did our heavy coat, which got rid of a fair bit of the pill. Then we just did that light dusting, and what that does is it just sort of, while it's still wet, now you don't do that when it's dry, but when it's still wet you just do a dusting, and that just sort of helps, I find, level everything out now, and then you end up, it's pretty nice now. So there is a little bit of trash here and there. Some of them are just little dust nibs that will just wipe off. It's just touchable now. There's a bug that got in it over here, a fly got in it that I picked out. You can probably hardly see any of this, and there's a couple, like here there's a little nib. So there's a couple little bits of trash, I will not lie and say that there is not. The colour has just turned out absolutely magnificent. The pearl in it is phenomenal now. It's probably not showing it, but when we're looking here, it's got this brownish greenish hue. Then we come around here and it's like brown, copper, gold. It is absolutely, you can probably see that there, that gold. Look at that, that just looks magnificent, and that does that the whole area. I'm just trying to show, I'm in the sun there, but just trying to show you the different, what it's doing. It's actually turned out so good. And we look at the front, look at that, we've got the sunbeam on it there. We come around looking this way, see, it looks quite dark, nearly blackish. I'm actually really chuffed with how this looks, and just imagine that in the flesh it actually looks even better. Then we come around this side with no sun, and it looks a bit different again. Now the sun's not helping, the sun's going down, but when the sun was up a bit higher, when it was still drying, oh my god, I'm actually really chuffed with how this has turned out. I'm really chuffed. So I've got you up nice and high, hopefully you're looking at it pretty good. Like that, looks magnificent, I think. Absolutely magnificent. The camera, well, it's probably not doing it justice, how good. So the black, if we look closely at the black here, and we did the little black edging, which just neatens all this up the whole way around here. It just makes it look really nice, and then it blends off. But you can see that in the camera. Look at that. That just looks absolutely gorgeous. And that's the whole way. It just depends on what light hits where, whether it shows up the gold, whether it shows up the brown. In some lights it shows a bit of a green. You can probably see a bit of a green. I'll get you close so you can see the pearls in it. Really nice. I'm really impressed with it, with what we did. Really impressed with what we did there. So what that now is telling me, so let's have a look at the whole car. Now immediately it's very hard for you, I'm going to have to shadow in the car so you can see, because it looks very orange. You can see there where my shadow is, it looks more like what it looks like. We got a little random dog here, I don't know where he's come from, he's not ours, I think he's from over there, but anyway, because we're at the top of the street. So we'll look on the side that's in the shade, will give you a better idea of the matting on the body. So now we've got to do this decision. When we're happy with our patina, which there's a few pieces I might work a bit more, and I'm still humming and hawing about shadowing that. When we're happy with it, we're gonna clear it. Okay, we are gonna put clear on it. So here's our choices. We could matte clear it, which would basically make it look like it does, but it would all be locked in. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is that I do what I've done on the roof. I actually clear it. I put a couple of pearls through the clear, and we clear this and get this body popping. And that's, after seeing the roof all shiny, I'm really thinking this may look good. The whole car done like that. So here's a good angle for the matte. So I want feedback on this, guys. Do we leave it matte like this? Now, it does need a wash, but do we leave the matte patina, or do we gloss over everything that's there and have it with some pearl and some shiny, but it will still have all the patina in and the sign writing, but it will have that. See, even in here, it's probably hard for you to tell unless you get over onto the sun. So I'd really like some feedback on this, what you guys think. After doing that roof, I'm leaning towards doing the whole car in high gloss. So, with all that said, it's a quick, short, sharp, shiny. I don't know how long it was, but it's a magnificent result, and I'm pretty chuffed with it. So I'll say thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.